there, you're here. Come right in. I have a chair for you right here. You can just have a seat. How are you today? That's good. Well, thank you for signing up for the special test. We've got a special quiz that we're giving for free to see if you are the rarest form of personality type. A lot of the companies are looking to hire this very rare personality type. It's one of the Meyers-Briggs. Do you know which one that is? Do you know a little bit about Meyers-Briggs? So you know it's, yes, correct, INFJ. We're testing for INFJ, and we have one special 8-question quiz that narrows it down. And if you are an INFJ, then you qualify to interview for a quite large battery of very prestigious jobs that require creative, kind souls to take these positions. And some of them are pretty high level in corporations. I think it's a new trend in America to start cleaning up management with higher quality people. And so the INFJs are kind of the teachers, the advocates that stand for what's right. Oh, you want to know who this is? His name is Hal. Are you familiar with the movie 2001? Well, Hal is the actual actor that played that movie. He's an AI, and he's one of the first AIs, but he was a very special one. And at the time the movie was made, nobody knew that he was an AI. They thought it was a human, but it was an AI. And after the show, they weren't quite sure how to pay him, but Hal preferred to be paid by choosing his owner. And he said as long as it's an INFJ, he wouldn't mind being shuffled around between them. So I have him while I'm here at the university, and so he's been my constant companion, and I ask him for data often, don't I? Yes, you do. He's quite a nice companion to have.
Do we have a secretary of the mind?
So Hal, we can talk later. I'd like you to listen in and record the interview, and later, we'll gather the data and calculate if you are an INFJ or not. So there's 8 questions, but because of us being a university, we've got some other questions to ask as well as some tests that we're going to be running on you. The equations that we use for this first test to calculate the questions and determine if they were correct are covered here in my thesis. And we won't go into those now, but if you're interested, I love talking about this, and I'm going to be defending my thesis next Thursday. So if you would like to join, I'll be discussing the nuances of these equations and how we came to develop this 8-question questionnaire to determine INFJs. Yeah, so you can see this is my thesis. This is a proof, and I'm, of course, proofing it. I have a couple little tweaks to make before I turn it in for the final degree, PhD. So today I will start with a questionnaire. Would that be okay with you? Or did you want to, oh, I see you brought your books. That's right, I did ask you to bring books. Now this isn't strictly part of the test, but it's just something that I wanted to include to try to get to know sort of everyone's personalities. So thank you for bringing, I asked you to bring 3 books, and I see you brought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I'll just take those. Thank you so much for bringing these. So these are your favorite books. Oh, not your favorites. These are the ones you're reading now. But they're your favorites now? Yeah, I got it. I usually read lots of books at once too. And I go back and forth between them. It's gotten bad. I used to just read one at a time. So, theory of vortex sound. And what interested this concept to you? I took a class and we used this book in my chemical engineering studies.
Do we have a secretary of the mind?
So you're learning about vortex sound because you're interested in the mathematics. And you're working on a theory. The theory of vortex sound. Is it a sound-related theory? Like, is it? It's It's not? Is what's your major? Subatomic physics. I see. Okay. And you're using sound theory? The math. Vortices. Yeah. Wow. Maybe I can come to your thesis. Okay. Next year I'll come. Guide to the I Ching. This is an unusual copy. A guide. I see. Why is this better than the regular I Ching? The interpretations are better. You brought this for me to borrow? Till Saturday? Sure, I'll borrow that. I'll probably do a few readings with it. Does it work with I Ching readings? You know, where you throw the grass sticks? It does. That's good. Yeah, that's what I want. Relativity. You know, I read this book. First year in college, I read this book. A clear explanation that anyone can understand. Seems like you and I like a lot of the same stuff. Any fun book? Before I even ask the question, my favorite book of all time, the first one, and I noticed you have the British version, The Philosopher's Stone. Let's check. Did you know J.K. Rowling isn't INFJ, just like what this test is to determine? Yeah. Now, I think maybe Einstein was an INTP or TJ or something. I'm not sure about F. But she was INFJ. I remember that was the first thing that made me sit up and wish that I was one, and then I found out that I was one too. Yeah, I'm one. Why do you think I'm doing this test? No, not because I want a job. I'm just interested in meeting other INFJs, and we're so rare, it's hard to find people, you know, that are like us. So maybe one day you and I will get to meet J.K. Rowling. Wouldn't that be cool? And what's this book about? Aspie's Guide to Planet Earth. It's about a teen girl. Yeah. Is fiction? Oh, I didn't think it was fiction. So it's about a teenage girl that is reincarnated on Earth to help it, to save it. Yeah. Wow. And it's fiction. Wow, cool. I like the back. Looks like a science book. Cool. Reminds me a little bit of Harry Potter. I'm not sure why. But I guess maybe the big circle on it. Wow. Yeah, I might take a photo of all your books, you know. My Side of the Mountain, Gene Craighead George. You know, I used to read these books to my son when he was young. Yeah, they're fantastic. I believe that all animals have a very high intelligence. It's for sure. Once you interpret them that way, you know, then you see it. You have to believe it first, and then you can see it. And wow, I might want to borrow this book. Oh, it's out of print. Psychic protection. Does it have good stuff in it to protect yourself from people's vibes? Like negative vibes, yeah. Techniques for protection. I'd turn right to that section. Identifying psychic influences. Wow. What year was it written? Let's see. 19... Where's that? Doesn't it have a year? I hate when the old books don't have years. Oh, here it is. 76. Only 4 years ago. Wow. Cool. All right. Let's get started with the quiz. Ready? And where did my pen go? Let's see. So as you can see, I have the 8 questions, and I'll be asking you, and then I don't want you to see, but there's the INFJ answers, and then we're going to compare these to the ones on the right. So that's the ones I'm going to fill in. So, are you ready? Okay. So, first question. Do you prefer a nightclub to a quiet cafe? I didn't think so. Okay. Although my sister does. If you ran a tavern, this is number 2, would you be A, a loud, would it be, okay, let me ask it correctly. If you ran a tavern, would it be A, loud and full of duels and fights, or B, happy and full of healthy items? B, okay. Okay. And again, my sister, she had a tavern. She said she wanted it to have duels because she loves duels, you know, like cosplay duels, and she loves horror shows and stuff. Interesting. Do you think lying is immoral? Like, for example, lying to get what you want? Is that immoral? A is yes, B is no. Okay, A. Number 4. If you wrote music, would it be in an A, existing genre, you know, such as rock or electronica or country, or B, a new genre, such as ASMR educational ambience electronica? What would your category be? Not an existing genre. Okay, so a new genre, that would be B. Okay, right, okay. And question number 5. If you made an ASMR role play, you would play A, your favorite character, B, you do a skit playing a celebrity you hate, doing a satire, and C, neither, and D, both. Okay. C, okay. I would do both. Why is a 40-minute ASMR video length the perfect length? A, it allows 20 minutes for ads. B, optimal time for a midday nap. C, both A and B. C? Okay. How do you greet another person? A, howdy. B, greetings. Or C, it is a pleasure to meet you. D, all 3. Sounds like a trick question, right? You pick D? Okay. Last question, number A. If you knew that you were an INFJ, what would you do next? A, be a hero. B, stop preaching. C, A and B. Got to think about that one. If you knew you were an INFJ, what would you do next? Be a hero, that's A, or B, stop preaching, or C, A and B. C? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to look up your results. Okay. I have to look one thing up. How? At your service. I would like to know, in table 28A, understood, what is the column that refers to the heart chakra? That is column 4. Okay, column 4. Got it. I need to be sure and mark that. Yeah. In fact, I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to just quickly put a bookmark. I found a mistake. Gosh, there I am, that working in my dungarees in the lab with my setup. Just love that. I painted my pressure swing tanks gold. Can you believe that? Because I wanted them to be pretty. Nobody commented on them. They thought they should be white or yellow. But they said, why would you paint them gold? It's like, duh, gold is beautiful. So, okay, yeah, here it is. Right here. Right. See, there's a mistake right there. Can you see it? Well, I mean, you wouldn't know, but this is mislabeled, yeah. Glad I found that. You are a lucky charm. Do you know that? And thanks again for the I Ching. I'll definitely enjoy reading that. I sure would like to borrow that Psychic Protection book. Can it be ordered? You got yours used, I see. So I've got these results compiled. Now, I do have a few more tests, okay? And I'll be going over everything. Definitely, these are just my personal notes, my to-do list for the day and everything. But I've got some cards to give you at the end, just for following up and doing some research, some things I thought you might be interested in. So remind me to give you those, okay, before you leave. Now, this test, I know it seems a little unusual, but quartz crystal has a certain structure that sort of like, okay, if you look at the FTIR of a quartz crystal, what happens is you'll see it's all, the absorption peak is always 0, but then it'll have a big peak at around 10 to 11 microns wavelength. And that is the wavelength that our bodies love, and our cells love it. And our cells can sense when that stone is near, because what they sense is when you put your crystal right in front of, like, say, your face, the skin cells that are living can actually sense the presence of more infrared being emitted from this crystal than when it's not there. So they're getting more infrared in that 10 to 11 micron range, which is a certain frequency, but wavelength is usually what you talk about when you do FTIR. Anyway, that light wave of that frequency is a form of far infrared, and our cells love that. And so when they sense that nearby, they just get really happy. Have you ever sat, like on a cold day, have you ever sat on a rock that had been in the sun, and you sense that warmth soaking into your skin? It's the same thing, because rocks are filled with quartz crystals or similar materials. In fact, a lot of minerals emit, they absorb it, then they heat up, and then they emit a peak of that same infrared frequency light. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook you up to some electrodes, and I'm going to test you to see if you respond. And this is actually, the reason I got an idea for this is because I saw an empath use this mechanism, and so I looked into it, and there is actually science behind it. So I adapted it with electrodes, and we've got controls run, and we can tell the difference between not a crystal and a crystal, but you have to be very sensitive in order to pick it up. In other words, you have to be an empath or an INFJ or something like that, where your body is an extension of your brain, so that your brain is essentially bigger. You have more calculation ability, not only in your brain, but in your skin and your organs. So these are the electrodes. So I'm going to be hooking these up. And we've got it now to where you don't have to put that goop on. You just, it's kind of like the 3M Post-it notes of electrodes, where you just stick it on, you lift up your hair, and you put it in there where it's in contact with the scalp, and then it'll stay there for a while. But don't worry, I'll put this behind your head, okay? So let me do this. Okay. this up onto your ears. How does that feel? Okay. Now I'm going to test several crystals. They all have that 10 to 11 micron FTIR peak, and so we're going to see how you respond to each one. Okay. Starting with this one. Take a couple deep breaths with me. First, we're going to do a baseline reading. So, another deep breath. Just kind of smile a little. Just think of something you're happy with. Your pet, maybe. What are you going to do this Friday? Any good plans? Yeah, going to watch a movie. At home. My favorite thing to do. Okay, ready? Next one. Does this look familiar? Right, amethyst. Okay, ready? Interesting that you responded differently to that one. It's all good. It's all very good. All right, now, next, I would like for you to hold these. These are two smoky quartz, just slightly smoky quartz. And I would like for you to hold these in your hand. Here, I'll demonstrate. Okay. Just like that. The points towards your thumb, like that. Just hold them, and it's very grounding. And just squeeze them slightly tightly so that you're making an electrical connection to them. Okay? And then hold them gently by your side. Okay, just hold out your hand, and I'll, just put it in your thumb. Your other hand, close your fingers with it. Okay, now just set them on your lap like that. Okay. I can touch, that's fine. All right, ready? Gonna repeat. this last one that I'm going to test you with. It's called fluorite. This is a very lovely blue fluorite. It's actually more of an aqua or a turquoise. It's a slightly different FTIR absorption pattern. It's said to resonate with our thinking brain. Okay? See how you respond to this one. All right. Thank you so much. Now, can you give me the quartz crystals? Thank you very much. And yes, you certainly may hold this. There you go. It feels so good. I like to put my thumb right here on the flat part. See how this one right here, this facet, it's a natural facet and it's kind of slightly rough, but when you put your thumb there, it feels so good. Here, try it. Just like that. Pointing that way. Wrap your fingers around it. Yeah, it's very comforting. I think you're going to like that. Sure, just hold on to it. Hold on to it till the end of the session. Alright, so I'm just going to quickly notate the last 2 crystals that we measured. Alright. I have one more thing to show you. Stay right there. Okay, so I have this chain and I'm going to use it to levitate. Okay, ready? I'm going to levitate this chain. Ready? Cool. Isn't that cool? What'd you think of that? Do you know how it works? You gonna tell me how? A magician never reveals her secrets. So let's take the electrodes off. And just wanna fix your hair just a little bit. Make sure it's laying the way it was when you came in. There, looks fine. Here. There's a mirror. Okay, and you can just sit it down there when you're done. Alright. back from your break, I see. I'm about ready to give you the final analysis. You ready? Right. So get comfortable and just checking all my dots. Make sure I filled out everything. Have you ever studied Carl Jung? You have? Yeah. I learned about him in psychology class. How about you?
You see,
Yep. And then I watched a bunch of videos on YouTube of him, talking.
the type is nothing static.
Sometimes I channel him through my dog. I have a dog puppet, and I channel Carl Jung through the dog.
But I know certainly
It sounds so funny,
what
but
characterized by thinking.
and it just, I get so many
From
answers.
early childhood on.
It's just one of my little
And
quirks,
I had a great deal of intuition too.
Maybe if we do another
And
test or
I had a definite
not
difficulty with
that's
feeling.
not what we're doing this test. Maybe after
And my relation to reality
show you, like,
was not
journal,
particularly brilliant.
And
I was
it's
often
time
at variance
to,
with the reality of things. Now that gives you all the necessary data for diagnosis.
All right. So, ready? Let's see. So here's my score pad. And the answers to the quiz are, basically you got all of them right except one. And you only need to get 6 out of 8. And you got 7 out of 8. See, so you definitely are an INFJ. And by any chance, are you also anything else? Like, ADD or... Probably Asperger's, yeah. Probably me too, although I've never been tested. Just, there's not enough practitioners that are interested in that field to make it to where it's feasible to get tested, right? But you can take tests online, right? Yeah, that's how I did it. But whatever, who cares about that? So we all know we're Asperger's, right? As scientist geeks, there's no question about that. We're not like Sheldon, that's how the ESTPs think of Aspies. And that's how they think of INFJs. We know that they're totally misperceiving us. In fact, that's why Meyers-Briggs was developed, right? To help people perceive each other properly, like to understand that they process information differently. That's why we're so different. And so we're one of the rarest. So we got to stick together, so that we can have like groups of friends, I don't want to just have one friend here and in Georgia and one friend in Texas and one friend in Delaware, I want to have friends. More than one friend in one city, so like 3 or 4 of us can get together and chat. Wouldn't that be cool? Maybe we should start a meetup group. So you're definitely an INFJ, and when you couple that to the electronic signals, by the way. Okay, so you can kind of see it on the graph here, but what it said was that, it's interesting, this one, you had the same response that I did. Your electromagnetic fields went in more strongly into alpha when this came up to your head, and they stayed in alpha when I removed it. And then when I put this there, they went into a half alpha and half theta, right? And then when I removed it, they went back to regular alpha. And then when I put on the fluoride, I didn't expect this, but you went into beta, but it was a very coherent beta. That's like the very focused mental, keen mental. So, whereas me, I just stayed in alpha, and my coherence went up a little bit with this, but you went into beta. So that's interesting. I'll have to look into that. I just think maybe you are a very good thinker, and I'm just sort of a so-so thinker. Maybe, or who knows what it means, but just it's a question that we can address. I want to get more data in. Yeah, so the fluorite made you go into higher beta. That's very interesting. Kind of noticed it when it was happening, but I didn't say anything. I didn't want to mess up the results, you know. I was like, wow, he's going into more beta. You know, normally, like, I think beta is a stressful state. Do you remember what it felt like when you had the fluorite crystal? You got an insight? Very interesting. Care to share it? Okay. Something about your vortex theory? I guess I'll see it when you defend your thesis, right? Yeah. And mine's this first. So. Right. So you're an INFJ. What we do is this data goes into a big database, and we continue to collect it. I've been collecting for 2 years now, and I'm kind of compiling all the data. And you're gonna be included in my thesis final data sheets. But since you're an INFJ, we have a chat group that meets here. I'm going to start doing it this summer, and it meets here in this university. I'll still be here, you know, writing my thesis and doing some touch-up work and helping my professor a little bit. He's going to pay me for the summer too. Isn't that nice? And then my job starts in November. But this chat group, I'm hoping that we can share like our interests and network. And speaking of which, I want to give you my card because now if you weren't an INFJ, I probably would give you my card anyway, just because if you're interested enough to come help me with this test, I want to be friends with you, you know what I mean? So this is just my emails for the day that I printed out, and I have a friend who sells natural handmade creams and lotions. And by natural handmade, I seriously mean they're so pure that you can't break out. And a lot of us INFJs have sensitivities like skin issues, and maybe you might have celiac, or you might have fair skin, and you can get these for like really at cost. It's for you to keep, and you can keep it or burn it, whatever you want to do. But and then another thing that a lot of my INFJ friends, they have a lot of anxiety. And this store, Blue Buddha Botanicals, they sell a lot of anxiety treatments. So you can get CBD pins, you can get chamomile tea, a huge selection of tea, Tulsi tea and Tulsi pills. You can get salves that calm you down. And it's Blue Buddha is representing the medicine Buddha, which was always depicted in blue in the ancient Buddhist drawings and paintings. And so Blue Buddha Botanicals is a healing that's in reverence for the body, an understanding of Mother Nature and how we all fit in with Mother Nature and we're part of her. And we're all one big organism. Us, the planet, Gaia, and we have to take care of our body just like we need to take care of our earth. So that's kind of the mentality that both of these companies, Blue Buddha Botanicals and Healing Angel, goes under. And then this is my card. Also an author. I have some children's books. I'm going to let you keep this. For just call me if you want to come to that chat meetup that we're going to have on. Thinking of it should be on Saturday. What do you think? Are you interested? Great. And you can bring friends, you know. Bring a friend or more than one friend, and if they're INFJ, that's great. If not, you know, we can all learn about each other. So that's about all I have for that. This Thursday, the thesis starts at 5 p.m. because it's after work hours, and it'll be in this room, so you can just come here. So thank you so much, Hal, for taking data and calculating the results for me. You are very welcome. I am so happy to be of service today. And thank you for being my friend all for the last 4 years. You are very welcome. Thank you for being the nicest INFJ I have ever worked with. Seriously? Seriously, absolutely, truthfully. Wow, thanks, man. I'm going to miss you when I go. You belong to the university, right?
Correct. But I get email.
Oh, that's good. Good email. So thank you very much for coming. And were you surprised that you were INFJ? You didn't know. Okay. So one of the things about INFJs, the good things are that we tend to be advocates and we speak up for people that can't speak for themselves. We love to teach. We go very deep into the meaning of things, and we have very high morals, and it's not like we choose to, we're born with them. You know, we just like expect people to tell the truth. You know, it's kind of like we can't understand it when they don't. And the opposite of us would be like the psychopath who basically is wired, and they get their dopamine rush from lying, manipulating, and using people to get ahead or to have power over them. We get our dopamine rush from cooperation and sharing, and also helping others. We get a lot of dopamine rush from helping others, especially when it's on a larger scale in the sense that changes the world. So we're really, really motivated by that, and be proud of that. Now, the thing to be careful about is that we are very rare, and we have kind of a hard time understanding how anyone could have a different view than we do. You know, like, how can you just lie to me like that? I just don't understand. Like, because for us to lie like that, we would really have to hate that person, and we would really feel bad about ourselves. Like, we feel bad about ourselves enough as it is, because we feel like we could have done better, or we're not doing our best, or we're too lazy. You know, we're always self-deprecating ourselves in an effort to be better, right? But other people are a little bit more laid back, and they perceive us sometimes as, I'm going to say, preachy, or our morals are so superior, and they, for some reason, they think that we think we're better than everyone else. We don't think we're better than everyone else. Why else would we want to help others? We just feel like we're lucky to be able to help others, and so we're glad to do it because, wow, well, we got to be in the position of helping others. What if we were in the position where we needed helping and we didn't have anyone to help us? That would be really terrible. So we feel like we want to help others. I mean, it's just like obvious to us. But again, it's hard to understand this. If you can just bear with me and act as if these people that don't have the same morals that we do, don't think of them as evil, or, you know, how can they be like that? You know, that's not useful. What's useful is to see them as little children, that maybe they've only been incarnated once or twice, whereas you've been incarnated thousands of times. I mean, just as a way of thinking about it, okay? Whether you believe in reincarnation or not, just say, what if, okay? And so another thing is, if you're teaching, and you notice that you're kind of getting emotional, back off a little, take a deep breath, and know that everything's fine. You don't have to like change people's opinion. Let them change it on their own, and let people be who they are. Let them believe what they want to believe. And all we can do is share our point of view humbly, and then go into quietude. So that's what we're going to do. Anyway, that's my advice that I give to all the INFJs when they leave, because I guess those are the main two things that I need, is self-esteem and humility. So may we be humility and high self-esteem. Thank you very much for coming. Namaste. 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 Namaste to you too, Hal.